Hey, we're going to talk about something and about our storms and our trials and depression. I've been really battling it a lot. I can't tell you like exactly what it is. I think it's mostly my diagnosis and what it is. I was sitting Tuesday and I was like, okay, these talks are usually based on the stuff I'm going through. And Tuesday, I was in my chair and I was depressed. And I said, fine, we'll talk about depression. But then I got too depressed to write anything. And I want to talk about I hate to say patients, but the people that has corticobasal degeneration like me. I want to talk to mostly you and the caretakers, because this is something that we all are affected by, of trying to deal with this as we go through it. It's hard. There's no manual that tell you how to get through it, and it's just hard. So living with a terminal illness like corticobasal degeneration and CBD, it brings a lot of storms, a lot of different kind of storms that most people don't have to, and how we navigate them. And sometimes I do not navigate very well. In this video, we're going to talk about the battle with depression and how, for me, I just found this verse again, and I don't know, but I forgot about it. And it's really, we're going to talk about, the Bible verse that holds me, because if we don't have an anchor, it's going to destroy us. The storm's going to destroy us. When there's a hurricane coming down in Florida, they make sure all the boats are tied up good and protected, because if they weren't anchored down, when that storm comes, that boat is not going to be there, and it might be in somebody else's yard. So having an anchor of going through this is really, really important. So I was thinking about different ways we feel. And I was sitting on the couch tonight, and I was just writing down different feelings, what we go through. And a lot of this is based on how I've been feeling. Silence. It's a lot of silence. And you're alone a lot, because you can't go and do anything. You're alone. And I could be it whatever, and have people, and you're sitting in your wheelchair and you can't propel, so you're just kind of stuck, and everybody around you is laughing and joking, and you're just stuck there. And you feel invisible. And I'm not saying that people are doing that to you, but we really do. We feel invisible. We feel forgotten. You sit in a wheelchair, you're not as tall as eye level as most, so they go right by you and don't realize they did. Darkness. There's a lot of darkness. In that time, you just feel voiceless. Like, I could be really depressed, but I can't tell you why. It's just going through this. Mask. I put a mask on. I mask because I shove everything down, and this whole thing is for to show you or tell you how how I'm feeling, or my day, how's it going. But I wear a mask and I just shove everything down, and somebody will say, hey, how you doing? Are you doing okay? And I just go, they don't care. they're just asking more out of obligation. So you smile and, I'm fine. And they go, oh, good, praise the Lord. And they go, and then you put your head down and you try to hide your eyes because you really wasn't fine. But with all of our symptoms, I don't think they want to really sit down and know exactly what's happening. We feel unneeded. A lot of people, won't ask you to do anything because they just figure, you can't. And probably can't, but it would be nice to be asked, even if we have to say no. So it feels unneeded. A burden. I feel much like a burden because my husband is older than myself, and I should be taking care of him. And he shouldn't have to try to go to work because I should be able to. I'm a burden to my 15-year-old. Sounds stupid, but she's got to get me coffee. And unlovable. But we got to know that those feelings, they're lies from the pit of hell. And I know we feel them, but we can't believe it. It's the devil, it's our flesh. And we just need to put our head up and go. The problem is we go in and out of depression, the ones with this disease and caregivers. And the Bible says that we really shouldn't follow our emotions. Why? Because the heart is deceitful above all things and desperately wicked. Who can know it? Jeremiah 17:9. And I'm telling you, it's one thing, it's like, okay, a little bit of mental health, and you can usually get out of that. But you're dealing with something like this, and nobody really can understand it. So even the caregiver, they stay by themselves and trying to deal with it. It's just not the same. But we really shouldn't. And before I get into a lot of other things, there was a couple other verses I wanted to go over. One was Matthew 11:28. Come to me, all ye who are weary and burdened, and I will give you rest. We really do get weary. Isaiah 41:10. So do not fear, for I am with you. Be not dismayed, for I am your God. And then Psalms 34:18. The Lord is close to the brokenhearted and saves those who are crushed in spirit. And I know a lot of you that are dealing with the same disease or caregivers. Our spirit is crushed. When we go out of the house, we put a smile on because we know nobody else is going to understand it. And I don't even how you would explain it. So I was looking up the definition of depression, and this is from just a regular dictionary. It's a common, serious medical illness characterized by a persistent low mood, loss of interest in activities, and in many cases, a total lack of motivation. It negatively affects how a person feels, thinks, and acts, causing significant distress and despair. Daily functioning for at least 2 weeks. So you had to be at least 2 weeks to be qualified that this is. And what was it? I just reading this, and it made me cry. I don't know, but that's okay. We're going to go on. You know, the Bible defines, and that was the other thing. That was just secular. But I wanted to know how the Bible would define depression. And it's obviously it's not a clinical term, but it's profound, often physical, mental, and spiritual. It affects all parts of you. And there's a deep sorrow, despair, and heaviness of heart. It is portrayed as a crushed spirit that can dry up the bones or hope deferred. That makes the heart sick. It is characterized by feelings of worthlessness, fear, and hopelessness. There are biblical figures like Elijah and David, and they really overwhelming darkness in their life. Elijah wanted to die. He just, but the Lord didn't strike him down. So even strong believers, including prophets Elijah, Jeremiah, and King David, they've all experienced deep depressions, indicating it is not solely a sign of weak faith or sin. And see, I have a problem with that because that's how I feel. I'm like, I can't be a strong believer if I'm depressed and I'm crying. Or it was a sign of weak faith. Well, you know better. You've been saved. You know. And it's hard. And it affects our physical and emotional impact. It is described as a state involving exhaustion, loss of appetite, and a desire for death. This is just more about it. We read that. Elijah, he wanted to die. He was underneath the tree and he was just done. David described his bones was wasting away in floods of tears. Psalm 6:32. And even Job lamented his existence. Sorry, guys. The scriptures encourage bringing raw emotions to God. And I try, but even I know I can't hide how I feel away from God, but somehow I do. God really cares for the depressed person. This is the verse I told you that's an anchor, and I please just listen to these words. 2 Corinthians chapter 4, verses 16 to 18. For which cause we faint not, but thou art outward man perish, yet the inward man is renewed day by day. So, God says, don't faint. And this is Paul. Paul's writing this. Paul was getting persecuted. And he still. And then it's like, okay, well, we look to God and his words. And did you hear that? Even though, our outward man is perished, but our inner is renewed. Always. It didn't say sometimes or every other day or as long as there's not bad weather. No. Every day it is renewed. For our light affliction, which is but for a moment. Think about that. We're walking around, right? We got this terminal illness, and God had Paul write, it's a light affliction, and it's only for a moment. Now, that is saying in the big screen of life, it's only a little compared to eternity. And it's only for a moment. And I know it's really, 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 really hard. But God doesn't lie. And if this is His word, then it's true. And which is but for a moment, worketh for us a far more exceeding and eternal weight of glory. While we look not at the things which are seen, but at the things which are not seen, for the things which are seen are temporal, but the things which are not seen are eternal. So what is that verse saying? Well, first, it's not saying that my outward man is Zion. God says it is. He's acknowledged it. It's okay. But it's only for a moment. And then we'll have eternity without this disease or somebody having to be a caretaker. So really, for real, my body is failing. And my disease is real. But you know what? God says all that's true. But your inward man, I'm renewing it day after day. And you know what? It starts with a choice. I'm not going to wake up tomorrow and go, oh, everything's fine. It's all magical. No. I'm still going to have to fight this. And you're still going to have to fight this. But you don't have to fight it alone because God is there and we do have His word and He promises and He cannot lie. But it is a choice. It is a choice. Are we going to get up? Let me see. I don't know. I know sometimes I don't want to, I had my depression to make myself get up and take a shower and get dressed. It's really hard. Or I could stay there and let that depression take over me and my mind and my emotions and my mental health and even my body. We don't want to waste a little bit of time that God's letting us have right now. And so you need to make a choice to look up at God and His Word. That's where our focus is supposed to be anyway. And what were the instructions? Well, we're not to look at things which are seen, but at the things which are not seen. Okay, so what do we see? Well, for me, I see sickness. I see depression. And I see hopelessness. My entire world has been consumed and turned, I just turned upside down. And I could see that, and it's right in front of me. But what does the verse say? The verse commands me to shift my focus. To what? Where is my focus? Its focus should be on and what is unseen. The promise of renewal. If God says He is doing it, then God is doing it. God does not lie. And we can count on His promises. And we have the eternal glory of God's presence, even when we're going through the worst part of our life. The verse isn't saying to ignore your pain. That's fair. But we have to intentionally choose to elevate God's truth above the evidence of my circumstances. I know what I'm trying to tell you, and I know it's true, and I know it's real, but it's not a magic bullet. You're still going to go in and out of depression, but you don't have to do it alone. And, you know, it's not like a quick fix. I wish there was, but it is a foundation. And we need to make our choice and make sure where our focus goes. That verse that I just read, I'm still dying. But he does give me a firm stand when my world is shaking. It taught me that my feelings and my circumstances, they're real, but God's promises are more real. If this story resonated with you, please subscribe for more encouragement, and maybe share this video with someone you know who might be in that dark place right now. More than anything, I want to build a community here where we can support each other. So please leave a comment below. Share your story, or just write, "I'm here," so we know we're in this together. And right now I want to talk to the people that has this stupid, sucky disease. And I want to talk to the caregivers. And I want you to remember something. Rare diagnosis, rare faith. You're loved, and you're not alone. Thank you. I'll see you guys later. Have a great night.